Guys, guys and girls, men and women, everyone out there, how we doing today? Welcome in. Hello, 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 guys. Good to have you here. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Um, I am just letting you know that we are here for the midday check-in, guys. All right. So a lot of you guys know I do the morning walk and talk. That is every morning. That is from 4:30 until 5 a.m. every morning. Do the walk and talk. I am on the East Coast, so that walk and talk serves people who are on the East Coast, other time zones. A lot of people often check in from a lot of different places, but as we always do here, our conversations are about purpose, development, discipline, and the biggest thing is going to be understanding your personal value and worth and how to focus on your value, your worth, and um growing yourself, how to develop yourself, how to appreciate your value, how to appreciate the things that you do, how to appreciate um, others appreciating you, if that makes sense, right? So we have to have a sense of purpose in our life. And I'm here today, guys. I'm excited to take this opportunity to talk to you on a recap. Um, Today, as we do all the time, we always talk about things that are going to impact our development and our growth. Today, however, specifically, I want to talk about um, consuming time, right? So it's often referred to as wasting time. The reason time consumption or time wasting is so important is because it is limited, right? We don't have an infinite amount of time. We do not have an infinite amount of energy. And so when we look at personal development, when we look at our life and we say, hey, I want to grow, I want to be stronger, I want to do more for myself, I want to achieve more, I want to grow my business, I want to have better relationships, I want to have better communication, I want to grow wealthy. I want my life to change. I want to make more money. When we look at all of these things that are individual to us, we try to find ways to do it. I'm letting you know right now. I want to welcome in everybody from checking in anywhere. Please, guys, remember when you're checking in, go ahead and drop I'm up in the chat. Just let me know where you're checking in from, what time it is, where you are. And I want to just offer this motivation to you with the understanding of when you start working on yourself and you start using your time for yourself, it's important that you know that your personal development is going to supersede your development in any other area in the world, any other area in your life. And I'm here to encourage you and let you know that I understand that when it comes to personal development, when it comes to working on yourself versus working on your job, for a lot of people it can be confusing, and the reason it's so confusing is that for most people, if someone was to ask you right now, right, if someone was to come up to you and they were to say, tell me about you, tell me about yourself, most people start, especially people who have a profession where they went to school to get a degree, their first two or three things that they list off is always going to have to be what they do, right? Someone's going to be like, oh, well, I'm a CEO, or I'm an engineer, or I'm a doctor, or I'm an IT professional, or I'm a manager. Most people start there, right? And the reason we start there is because I mean, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but there are things that we have to understand, that you are separate from your job. You are separate from what you do, right? Deshaun, so you're asking the question why. Why should be the question that you're asking yourself. So thanks for checking in. But yes, the reason most people start with what they do is because we spend so much time doing it that we start to believe that the work that we do is indeed our identity. It is who we are. All right. So if you're a manager, you're like, oh, I'm a manager. I lead a company and I do. Hey, Yakuza, thanks for checking back in, man. Good to see you again. And so one of the things that's going to be very important is that we start to realize and understand that we are more than the work that we do, right? Our identity is us. So one of the things that I'm encouraging, and one of the things that what this talk is about today, is about the difference between consuming time and investing time, right? So when you spend time with and around the people who you love and you talk to those people and you have conversations and then you go through just sitting there with them and just going, hey, I just want to enjoy this time with you, whether we're eating food or whether we're talking to one another or whether we're just watching videos together or whatever the case may be. Spending time with people who you care about leads to enjoyment. It leads to an enrichment in your life, right? So that's an investment of time because you're investing in those relationships. When you're with the people you care about, you invest in those relationships and they in turn invest in you. And this leads to fulfillment, right? This leads to fulfillment in our life. Now, there are other ways. So you can work on yourself by reading. You can grow your knowledge. You can grow your emotional quality by or your EQ by spending time with people. You can grow your spiritual knowledge by being spiritually open, meditation, prayer, being within a spiritual community. So you can grow spiritually. You can also grow physically by the exercises you do, the things that you do for a workout, the ways in which you challenge yourself. All of these are areas that we can grow in, and then we can also grow like mentally. So there's a difference from the knowledge side, right? Which is reading and becoming more understanding of specific knowledges or learning the learning process. That's knowledge. That's different from mental. Mental is the ability to be able to think, right? So when you grow your mental capacity, how do you process information? How do you speak to others? How do you reach out? I am not an online therapist. I am actually um, I'm actually a professional life coach. The work that I do here is specifically on focusing on individuals' discipline, focusing on leadership skill sets, which allow for you to develop yourself. And then finally, the thing that you're going to focus on is being able to apply discipline and those leadership skill sets towards finding a more wealthy life. The work that I do is designed completely on taking our onus off of the outside world, taking the view off of people outside of us and putting this view back on ourselves, understanding that we have a control over the way that we choose to process information, the way that we choose to take it in. On most days, I come in, I get up at 4:30. Well, I go on a walk at 4:30 in the morning, and from 4:30 to 5, I have a group, or I motivate and I attempt to mentor a group of people. Anyone who shows up, there's no charge. I'm just here to encourage people and let them know that there are great things that they're capable of. I try to share any information with individuals as I possibly can. But the primary focus of what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure that individuals understand that their development and their growth is in their hands because there are so many distractions in the world. There are so many people who will tell you that you can't do something. There are so many times where you yourself may feel discouraged. And so I just want to take a couple of opportunities every day to just get on to encourage people to continue to offer them encouragement in terms of their personal development and growth. And so, as I was saying, once you start to see these different areas of your life that you can grow and you can do this critical thinking to better assess yourself, that's time invested in you, right? And so in school, they used to have this thing whenever you're writing about something. Uh, I hear what you're saying. So if you want to share a little bit more, I would like to, we could delve into that. So I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Uh, I'm gonna go with BX, Senior B Sir BX, but it looks like Eli plays Senior BX. So I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but if you have something you want to share and you're looking for some feedback, I'm sure that we have the opportunity and the time now. I'm not going to be on here very long. I usually only stay on for about 15 to 30 minutes. But I'd be happy to try to assist you in any way that I possibly can. But one of the things that I'm trying to encourage, and one of the things that I'm talking about in terms of an individual's development, in terms of our individual development, is understanding that when we do things, when we decide that we want to achieve a certain goal or we want to live our life in a certain way, that when we choose to take on that approach, right? When we choose to say, look, this is how I want to shape my life. There are certain steps that we have to follow. And so, starting from the beginning, when I originally said, if you ask somebody, who are you? Right? they'll start with what they do for their living, right? What type of work they do, right? Especially people who have achieved a degree in order to be able to do the work that they do. They'll definitely start talking to you about, hey, this is how, this is where I work, this is where I went to school, this is where I got my degree from, this is who I am. And so you'll see a lot of that. Now, when I was going to say, when you go back to looking in school, so when we were in school, they would try to, when you have to write an essay, they would want you to write who, what, when, where, why, right? So they would ask those questions, and then you would want to answer those questions in order to complete the survey, in order to complete the essay. Give me a second. And so, I mean, uh, right. So that seems like a very specific situation. My process and my engagement is always the same whenever I speak to people. It's always starts with you, right? So everything starts with you. When you talk about having a tough time with people outside of you, the first thing that we have to do is we have to become comfortable with self-assessment, self-awareness, and development, and then in having conversations with others around that. Now, if you don't mind sharing, how old are you? If you could share that, Sir BX, that might help us be able to figure out how we can have these conversations so they'll be beneficial and they'll help you in your development. And so when you ask the who, what, when, where, why, so if you're 10, I'm not going to offer you guidance and leadership in this format as a 10-year-old. I would say the first thing that I would encourage you to do is to reach out to your parents, communicate with them, have your parents get a better understanding of what you're dealing with and what you're going through, and then having your parents assist you with speaking with a professional if necessary. And the reason I'm making that recommendation is because with all sincerity and honest belief, I personally work with a therapist myself for my own like things I need to talk about. There are things that you can't just put out onto the internet and hope that the internet can fix for you. There are things that you can't just sit around and say, I hope this goes away. There are things that are important to you. There are things that are a part of who you are and your development. And at this age, at 10, you need a group of people to help you. I am too far removed from you, right? I'm on a screen, you're on a screen on the other side, you're typing. I'm too far removed from you to be able to give you the support in the way you would need it. Do not hesitate to get your family involved. Do not hesitate. And again, this is a part of controlling your life, is understanding that the people closest to you, right? This is what wealth is. Wealth is being able to spend your time with the people who you care about the most whenever you want to. Take that time to speak with the people you care about the most, the people who care most about you, and look for that support so that they can support you and they can offer you the guidance and they can get you any help that you may need, because it sounds like the situation you're dealing with is a difficult one and it's not something to be taken lightly, right? And so when you say who, what, when, where, and why, I'm going to tell you that more important than anything else is the why and the how in your life, right? Why you do what you do in life. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's working at McDonald's. I don't care if it's running a Fortune 500 company. I don't care if it's swapping out kidneys. The why behind your actions is what is going to get you up and get you to take action when there does not seem like there's any reason to take action. There will not always be a motivator. There will not always be a doctor. There will not always be um, someone there to encourage you and turn on the rock music and get your heart flowing. There's not going to always be somebody there in that space, but I tell you what, you will always be there. And so you have to first understand that as a part of your development, you need to learn. Isha, how are you doing? Good to see you again. We talked about this before about studying without daydreaming. I'll talk on that in just a moment. But one of the things that's going to always be important is that you understand why you're doing what you're doing. And then when you figure out why you're doing what you're doing, then you have to invest in developing yourself. You have to invest in working on yourself, being self-aware and holding yourself accountable. And then that will determine how you do what you do, the level of effort, the investment that you make in ensuring that your performance is at a high level, right? And so, Isha, in terms of how to focus or studying without daydreaming, It's really that's what focus is. So one of the things that you can do that I would recommend is start to work on just focusing. So when you wake up at the to start your day, sit down and practice focusing. If that's meditating, if that's taking a few minutes to just sit silently and train your thoughts on something specific, to sit silently and learn to meditate and to quiet your mind and to reduce the noise, working on it throughout your day. These are things that are going to continue to bring in or improve your ability to be able to quiet your mind and reduce the daydreaming. Now, don't get me wrong, imagination is a great thing, but in order for us to get work completed, sometimes we need to quiet the mind, right? And when we quiet our mind to get our work done, that quieting of the mind will require for us to go away from some of those things. Primal, what's going on? Good to see you here. Uh, yeah, so no, I haven't been going on since 2 a.m. I jumped off. Of course, I did my morning walk that you know I always do, but I'm just doing a midday check-in. I'm thinking about adding this to the schedule. Not always something that I'm available to do, but I've done a couple now. Just want to be present, man. I want to be present for the people who are looking for the assistance. I want to make sure that I'm trying my best to provide that support in that space because, as you know, we're all about encouragement. We're all about support. And so I'm glad I could help you there, Issue. But keep in mind, now here's the thing, everything starts with discipline. It doesn't matter what it is you're trying to improve. If you're trying to improve your focus, it's going to take the same four pillars of discipline that I always talk about, right? And so we can go over those. It's going to be repetition. It's going to be consistency. It's going to be patience and it's going to be perseverance. So, if you want to improve your focus, you have to perform exercises that work specifically on focus improvement. And so, you have to work on things that will allow for you to quiet your mind and control your thoughts and focus on what's important. And it doesn't always just happen. Like it's not a snap of the fingers and oh, it's fixed. What you want to do is you want to start studying in smaller increments, right? So you can definitely study in smaller increments. If you say, hey, I want to get on and I'm going to study for about 10 or 15 minutes, right? You set that clock for 10 or 15 minutes and you work on focusing. Now, here's the thing, if you're trying to focus on focusing, it's going to be hard to focus on the work, right? So, how do you stay in that? So you do that work beforehand. Focus itself is a skill that you want to work on. So the fact that you've been able to self-assess and determine that, hey, I do have an issue with focusing, right? I have difficulties with going into a situation and maintaining my focus as I start to daydream. That is being self-aware. Now you have to hold yourself accountable. I don't want to continue to perform those behaviors because they are consuming my time. When I sit down to study, my time is not being used efficiently because I am daydreaming. My thoughts are wandering. I'm not being focused on the things that I want to do. I'm not focused on the task at hand. So, outside of when it's time to do those tasks, is when you work on that focusing. That's the time when you sit down and you say, okay, well, I want to do better at focusing. So, let me do better at focusing now. Right now, as always, guys, I'm here to encourage you. I want to motivate you. I want you to know that the things that you do, the things that you want to do on a daily basis, where you're at right now, in the middle of your day, the start of the day. I know out on the West Coast is somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock in the morning. And so when you're going into your day, you're getting into your first set of meetings, you're getting out of the gym, you got the kids to school, whatever it is that you're doing, you have to keep in mind that development of yourself as an individual requires you. You have to do that work. And it's really difficult sometimes to just to block out the noise, to block out all of the distractions. And what we'll find ourselves doing is letting others consume our time. They'll come in and they'll start to distract us with things that don't lead to our purpose. And then that sets us back. Looks like Dixon is, how are you doing, Dixon? Hey guys, if you're dropping in and you just want to check in and say that you've come in, I really appreciate it. I love a comment just to say I'm here. Give me a thumbs up again. And I'm going to take a look at what Dixon is saying here. um, all right. So Dixon isn't saying anything that we're going to carry on in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and get that removed. Dixon, thank you very much for participating. It was a pleasure having you here. And so, guys, again, as I said, if you just want to drop a thumbs up in the chat, you can share that there. You could also take a look at the channel. You can see the work that we do there. You can like and subscribe. It is Sorry about that. Got a little thirsty. I would love if you guys like, subscribe, continue to comment, continue to be a part of the process, and continue to remember that your development is a personal matter, right? And I can come on, and as I told someone the other day, I was a personal trainer for over 15 years, right? So rah rah was easy for me, right? So being able to get up and say, "Hey, let's go, 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 go! We gotta run, 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 run!" Everyone needs to focus. You got it. This fire is in you. There is not a world in which you cannot succeed. There is not a person on this planet outside of you who can deter you from being who you're supposed to be. You control your fire. You light the flame. You start the engine. You run the race. And I did that for a long time. And I understand the ability to go out there and lift people up and tell them, hey, let's go. Like I did it. And it was a part of the motivation. But what I found, the interesting thing that I found is when it came to discipline, there is no degree of motivation that you can give someone if they don't want to do the things you're trying to motivate them to do. There's no level of support. There's no level of rah rah. If you say you want to be rich, and I come and I tell you, hey, here's how you get rich, follow these steps, and you don't take a step, you're not going to achieve rich. If you say you want to be wealthy, if you say you want to be strong, if you say you want to do anything, it requires a level of discipline that you have to be committed to. And so I'm here to tell you today, I'm here to share with you the way I share with everyone. This responsibility falls on us. We cannot say that we want something, we're trying to achieve something, we're trying to get somewhere, we're trying to build something. Give me a moment. We're trying to build something, or we're trying to find ourselves and create a strength or a development or growth within ourselves, and then we don't do the investment to get it done. We don't take the steps to get it done. We have to be self-aware, and we have to be self-accountable. So it doesn't matter if you're in a gym, it doesn't matter if you're in an office, it doesn't matter if you're in your bedroom. If there's something you say you want, at some point you're going to have to do the work. I can cheer you on, I can rah rah for you, I can get others to support you, I can pat you on your back, but you got to do the work. And until you do the work, you're not going to achieve the goal. You're not going to achieve the task. You're not going to make it to where you think, where you say you want to go. And it takes you, right? And so, hey, I hear what you're saying. Like, that's a whole different conversation. Your genetics are your genetics, but so are your behaviors. Right. So immediately when we say, but genetics matter, we're already at the beginning, we're saying, boom, this is on somebody else. This isn't my fault. What are you trying to achieve? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is you're trying to achieve if you're not going to apply discipline. If the first thing that we respond with, and this is what I want to say, share with you, there's a difference between reasons and excuses. It's a very thin line. And the issue and the thing about reasons is when you look at a reason is a problem. It is a issue. And all issues and all problems have solutions. Whether you want to take those solutions or not are entirely up to you. But every problem has a solution. Excuses do not have solutions, which is why everybody keeps, which is why not everyone, but which is why so many people keep excuses ready to use. I'm ready to throw this excuse out there. I'm ready to put this excuse into the ether because I don't want to take responsibility for the results of my actions. I don't want to be the one who's accountable. Everything that's a reason ends up back with you. Everything that excuse is going to always be external. It's going to always be on someone else. My family's doing great. Now, the thing that I'm trying to say is that when we start to do investment into ourselves, right? When we start to do the work for us and we say, this is a goal that I want to achieve for me, we start to eliminate excuses. That's why being self aware and self accountable is such a big deal because if we're being self aware and we're being self accountable, then we know that what we're doing is for us, and we know that we have to do the work. We stop finding ways to blame it on others. We stop finding ways to say, "Hey, well, maybe if something, like maybe if someone had done this, or the excuses go away." And it becomes purpose driven. It becomes a why. You have a why for what you do. And this is what drives you to get up, guys. And like I said, this is just a midday check in. I'm not going to be on here very long. I did just have this opportunity. I wanted to get on. I wanted to encourage everyone everywhere that if you are truly driven to achieve your goals, if you are truly trying to find a way to change your life, to change your family's life, to develop wealth, to build your future, to build riches, to build your own happiness, and not only identify what happiness looks like, but being able to identify when you're in that moment. I'm going to take one more look. Says, uh, all right. So Desperado, I'm gonna give you this information real quick. This is very similar to the question that Isha asked earlier about focus. Distractions are there intentional to hold you back. I will share this with you. If you do not have a purpose for your life, someone else does. If you're not living for your purpose, you are already serving someone else's purpose. That doesn't mean that you have to all of a sudden go out and start a business or change the world. No, it's simply saying that you have to identify that there is something about you that is important to you, that you care about, and that you're going to work on. And what I'm telling you is, if the hardest thing to do is to start the flow, that's why the four pillars of discipline, which is where you build success on your way to mastery, are repetition, consistency, patience, and perseverance. To build a flow, you first have to start doing something. That's it. You just have to start doing something. So I don't know what your goal is. I don't know what it is you're trying to do, but whatever it is you're trying to do, start doing it. And I mean, this is the old Tim Robbins saying, when Tim Robbins said, just the 5 second rule, you count back from five, five, four, three, two, one, whatever it is, do it. Right? Just start doing it. Having a difficult conversation, getting out of bed, doing an exercise, like whatever that thing is for you, saving money, not making a purchase, whatever that thing is for you, excuse me, in order for you to start it, you just have to start, right? This is why I'm eliminating the word try. I am currently in the process of monitoring my speech to remove the word try and trying, because as soon as you start to do something, you're no longer trying, you're doing it. This is the difference between a choice and a decision. You can choose to be healthier. I'm going to choose to eat better. It's my choice to eat better and reduce my caloric intake and live a healthier life. And then you go out and you get a honey bun and a bag of chips. You chose to eat better, but your decision was to continue down the path you were traveling, and a decision requires action, right? And so if you choose to eat better, if you choose to be in a better flow, if you choose to improve the level the specific areas of your life, they're going to require for you to take action. And that's when a choice becomes a decision, and that's where you begin to build the repetition. And there are small things. If you're having difficulty with focus, if you're having difficulty with just getting started, if you're having difficulty with just doing things, it is going to start with you just doing that first thing. And so I believe that the things that you're trying to do, or that the hardest thing that you're facing right now, is the flow. I understand the difficulty in what you're saying and being consistent. I understand what you're saying about there are so many distractions and things that come in. But for you, your personal self-assessment, being personally self-aware, you just stated what the issue is. So if you've identified the issue, then you can identify when it happens. You have to take action and say, stop. No, I'm not doing this. And see, when you do that now, and this is exactly what this talk is about today, this talk is about the difference between consuming time versus investing time. And so, if you know that these distractions are not going towards your growth, your improvement, and your development, then you know in that moment you can say, stop, I'm done, no, and you can grow. That's what I'm trying to say to you, Desperado. I'm not sure if you were able to hear all that. If you were able to hear all that, please let me know in the chat. Just give me a thumbs up or something like that. I just want you to know that being able to grow and being able to take steps and being able to improve and move in your own life is just a matter of you doing that. Just a matter of you taking those moments with that self awareness, with that development, to go ahead and do what you're doing. I'm definitely live. And we're in the same time difference as we always are, Isha. I can't remember where you're contacting from. I know there are a few people who are in India, but the time difference is the same. I'm on the East Coast of the United States, so it's about 1:50 in the afternoon right now. And so I just want you guys to know, like as a point of reference to what you want to do with yourself and what you want to do with your life. Your time is important. Start to invest it. Your time is exchanged. You exchange your time for money from the companies that you work for. You exchange your time, you invest in your life for your life that you work for, right? And so the value is much greater. If you're not valuing your time, if you don't value your time with yourself and with your loved ones, then you can't expect someone else to have that same value as well, right? And that's what's going to be important, guys. I really want you to understand that I'm here on a daily basis from 4:30 to 5. The 2DS program will be available shortly for you to download. Take a look at those 4 steps of repetition that you can use specifically to help grow your discipline. And that discipline, along with the leadership skill sets that we'll be adding shortly, will help you use those to target anything in your life and see true development. Okay, guys? And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the likes, the thumbs up, and I really appreciate the questions. And I'll be seeing you guys more in the future. God bless. Take care.